Yeah, behind every great man is a
woman who can tolerate it all, really. I mean...
You trying to kill my kid?
Yeah. You're trying to integrate nature into society.
I hate bees. I'm deathly allergic. I wish they shot me.
And Lady Bird's like, Jumbo, shut your mouth, Jumbo. This sucks.
I'm so sorry. We have a lot more, though. LBJ.
Welcome to Overshadowed Podcast, the only podcast that covers the siblings and spouses of people who have changed the world. Today, we're talking about President Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson, the first modern first lady who was a self-made millionaire, independent of her husband, gave LBJ the emotional support he needed to wipe off John's blood and run for an elected term, and she's also the reason our highways aren't lined with junkyards.
Throughout this episode, we'll cover her accomplishments as a first lady, her complex relationship with her philandering, classless, crude, hung like a horse husband, and how institutionalized homophobia may have been the reason we got involved in Vietnam. I actually think that could be the case. That's why I wrote it. But first, let's rattle off what we know about LBJ as a man and as a presidente. Charles, let's throw it to you. What do you know about LBJ? Actually, before you looked any of this up, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Before I knew LBJ?
Yeah.
The only thing I knew about him was that he seemed old, and I knew he took over from JFK.
And that his name was Spanish for the BJ.
LBJ.
Yes.
That's his mucha libre name.
Yeah, that's when
LBJ.
he goes. That's when he goes vacationing south of the border.
Yeah.
Call me LBJ.
Okay,
So what did you say?
know?
Sorry, he assassinated JFK? Is that what you said?
I knew he was a three-initialed president, and I knew he took over for Kennedy, but I didn't know much about him at all.
I don't think I knew anything except for the fact that people mentioned his penis.
You knew about his penis beforehand?
I did.
Really?
That was like the one thing about him I knew.
Wow.
It's like the Taft bathtub. LBJ shows everyone his penis.
Wow.
And
I think that's where I think he was the reason for Johnson.
maybe.
That's my theory.
Yeah, we never actually fact-checked that, but
Yeah.
he could be.
What's
he was slinging that thing around.
Let's do what's a B word for penis? Is there a B word?
Boner.
Long boner Johnson?
Yeah, Longbone Johnson.
Nice.
That sounds like a guy who plays spoons on his knee.
Yeah.
That's all Longbone
A jazz
Johnson.
legend.
Yeah, the jazz.
There's a guy scraping.
Skeebity beep up.
He's just flapping his dick on his leg.
Huge hog on this guy, which he nicknamed his penis Jumbo. Which if I had a big penis, I would name it Mini or something just to throw people
Tiny.
off.
What's up, Tiny?
Yeah.
Just to have fun with it.
Yeah, like Skinny, Skinny Pete or whatever is the name of.
Skinny Pete.
I mean, it's a Breaking Bad character, but how fat guys are often named like Lil Ricky.
Yeah, Tiny. Yeah.
Tiny.
Lil Ricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had a jumbo,
Do you really think you could live up to Jumbo? When you whip it out,
I'd
someone's
have
like,
to have a... Yeah.
that thing is, I mean, it's not large. It's not huge.
It's jumbo.
It is a yumbo right now.
Well, apparently, as we'll find out after their honeymoon, Lady Bird had to go to the...
Yeah, she made an appointment for the gyno.
Because he wrecked it.
He blew it up in Honolulu. He started the fire.
Yeah, did a little Pearl Harbor.
Um,
did a little direct energy weapon.
He did I think what a lot of people know LBJ for is he did the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act. He worked with MLK. That was like a huge part of his legacy. And I think he would be remembered as a much better top 10 president if it wasn't for Vietnam.
Yeah,
which he also got us into because he was afraid of looking like a coward. But he was trying to get elected. And we'll talk about how he really saw politics as war. And in war, you're going to have casualties. And he thought he was the right man for the job. He was the guy who could get the South back into America and integrate and we could all just forget about that whole war. He thought he was the guy to be able to do that. But in order to do any of that, he needed to get elected. And so we'll talk about how he kind of, at every move, did the thing that he thought would get him elected, not the thing that was maybe the best for the country.
Yeah.
But then when he was elected, I think he did like the best for the country.
Yeah, it
but
took him a little bit.
Trying to get there, he was
tough.
yeah.
We watched a movie about it, and it was intense.
Throwing friends aside and starting wars
He had a way of
no intel.
There's a way of persuasion coined. He coined a way of Johnson treatment.
The Johnson treatment.
The way he could what was it? Flirt, persuade, and kind of dominate people.
He was like a hulking man. He would corner you in an elevator and just be like,
whip out his dick and be like, "You want to
Phil? Come on, have you seen my dick?
You
I'm
don't want
surprised
me
they
to
didn't-
break out Jumbo, do you?
Do you think they didn't include that in the movie, or you think Bryan Cranston was like, I'm not wearing a prosthetic dick and swinging it around?
I think they didn't include that. I don't think there's probably family members or something who are like, you can't do that, because the furthest they went is in the movie he was naked on the toilet.
He was shitting in a meeting. Yeah,
but I don't think I think family would intervene, because they have before when they tried to do movies about
the Johnson family.
Yeah,
not Bryan Cranston's family.
Look, you can't give Brian a big dick. It's gonna fit his head too big.
It's gonna crush his brother.
Yeah.
That's all he has. Brian's the big famous one, and his brother's just the big, biggest one. He got a phone installed next to the toilet.
Oh wow, he must have had IBS.
No, I think he just had no personal boundaries. I don't think he had IBS. He just wanted to be able to have meetings and talk to people whenever he
all the
wanted.
time.
Yeah, he's like me. Whenever I call you, you hear a flush.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like my version of Roger.
You really go to the bathroom all the Roger.
Like, hey, what's up, Charles?
Oh yeah, copy that.
Yep.
Yeah, every time I hear it, I go.
And then I never hear his flush, so I never know when he's done talking.
True. You still on the same channel?
Yeah. No, I get it, dude. You wanna save time. It's all about optimizing your life. And talking while shitting is one of those ways.
Yeah, he seemed to be a big multitasker.
Yeah.
So he seemed to be, LBJ, what we've learned is that he's a very outwardly confident.
Yeah.
A little bit of a, how do you say this when he is very insecure. It's all probably driven from insecurity. Maybe, I don't know if he was insecure as a person, but I think the JFK thing made him very insecure because it kind of bolstered him into be the president-elect or the acting president. And then he went through a while of being like, nobody wants me in this huge hog. And he was very, very insecure when it was just him and his wife.
MLK, is that you?
Nobody wants this dream.
I was like, what does that even sound close to?
Better than yours.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he did have a deep down inferiority complex, I think. Because he wasn't elected. The guy in front of him just got shot.
Yeah.
But he could do the job. So I think he had this super ego that he was like, I'm the best. And then he would get really depressed.
Yeah.
And Lady Bird would have to prop him up. But yeah, did you like him as a guy? I liked him as a guy.
He seemed like a good guy.
He seemed like a bit much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely.
Like
for me, I think the type of personality that I am, I would be like, I need to take him in doses.
Yeah.
But I would probably see him and be like, I wish I was that guy.
Yeah.
It's like when you see those comedians that are like quintessential comedians, like the charisma, popular, and you're like, I want to be that comedian.
Yeah, he was, so LBJ and Lady BJ.
So then, we get to, what do you think
La
about?
BJ. They're both from Texas. And so they both, I think, they both embody the archetype of a dude from Texas and of a woman from Texas.
I think
he's
you're
like
right.
a loudmouth, crass. I mean, we'll talk about more of the stories as we get into the podcast. But one time he just started pissing on a Secret Service agent's leg, and the other agent was like, and he was like, "Don't worry, son, this is my prerogative." It's like, what do you say to that?
You think he was drunk?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that's also his prerogative.
Yeah.
Is to get drunk and piss on your leg. Not watch out for a red dot.
Yeah.
And dive in front of the bullet as I piss on your friend.
That guy, that guy getting pissed on definitely was like, I'm not diving.
Yeah, I'm doing
guy's
my
gonna be
duty
like,
right
no.
now. Yeah. Oh, no. He like tries to stop it with his foot.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, no, shit.
I thought you had that.
You should.
Dude. This guy's like way far away. Dude.
That was yours.
You called it.
Shouldn't have called it.
He's doing this.
His nose goes in. I don't know, man. Look, I got a wet leg. I've done enough. Well, one more thing I want to say about LBJ is that he, as a guy, I think this describes it pretty well. LBJ's here with us tonight. That was his sexual gorilla. I don't know if he called himself a sexual gorilla or if Lady Bird called him that. I think Lady Bird called him a sexual gorilla. Like, to the doctor. She's like, Doc, you got to help me. I married a sexual gorilla.
Tearing off my fingers.
And she's like, oh, okay. He's like, oh, okay, great. Really small dick? She's like, no. That's the one part where he's actually not a gorilla. It's more like a giraffe. So LBJ got in some fight with this reporter who described him as that LBJ expected his Texas roots to explain away his behavior. Mm-hmm. So instead of like, I'm from a different time, he's like, I'm from a different
place.
Hey, I'm from a different place. Okay, so I can whip out my cock.
Macaulay
I can show
Culkin.
you my bird, macaw, and that's my prerogative, son. And yeah, it's like I think you
It's,
said that Italian thing.
Yeah, Cuomo goes, I'm not perverted, I'm Italian.
Look, you elect an Italian to mayor, you got to expect this kind of stuff.
Yeah, come
on.
on.
What did he do?
I think it was the sexual...
Groping?
I think it was some gropage.
Yeah, groping is
And he
a
goes,
bad
I'm not
word.
groping, I'm Italian.
Yeah,
That's how we touch.
yeah,
But then he had his nipples pierced too, right?
yeah. I mean, he's not a freak. He's from New York.
Yeah.
He was embracing the new Brooklyn by getting his nipples pierced. He's trying to unite every borough. All right, so that's LBJ. So what about Lady BJ?
What we found out about Lady BJ was that she is an unbelievable woman, a great partner, and basically the backbone of Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah,
she
behind every great man is a
woman who can tolerate it all, really.
Yeah.
I mean, she put up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She loved her husband. She was, again, a woman of Texas. She's mostly known for her beautification project. What was it?
her little project,
Little projects.
her
But
little hobby.
she did so much more for that.
No, it was a full bill,
Yeah.
full act.
She's basically, when you look up Lady Bird Johnson, a lot of things you find is like, she planted flowers, the flower girl. And it's like, man, she...
I mean, she did a lot. That
What?
was a big part of it.
And
But
it's a, yeah.
But she, just as a lady, was really calm, like placid,
Yeah.
Courteous. Like I think a nice, cordial, good lady to be around.
Well-spoken, highly intelligent.
Smart, educated.
She graduated high school 15.
Yeah, I mean, we could just get right into her early life unless we have any other thing to kind of. Where's the mouse? I have the mouse right here. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's just get into it.
All right, so she was born. Give me your birth name.
Lady Bird, born Claudia Alta Johnson, grew up in a plantation house. First strike, called the Brick House. She was born in 1932
Wow.
as Claudia Alta Johnson. But what her nursemaid, her babysitter?
Yeah, nursemaid. I don't know what a nursemaid is.
I
but,
think it's what they called babysitters for young kids. Like I think you would call me technically a nursemaid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
I call you bitch maid.
That dude, not on mic. Her nursemaid. What did she say that she was?
She was as pretty as a ladybird.
Yeah.
And it's still debatable on whether she meant ladybug. I guess a ladybird is also synonymous with ladybug.
Southerners are so stupid.
Yeah, idiots. Or it's a type of bird.
Yeah.
And I really think it just depends on what she was into. Like,
Right.
what if it was just a lady who was just really into bugs? You're like, oh, you look like my favorite kind of bug.
You look as pretty as a bullworm.
Alaskan.
Can you get Bullworm Johnson in here? Where's my wife? Where's that wife? And I swear to God, if she's not wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ladybird's the best.
Best out.
The best one, because she is a lady and a bird. Kind of redundant given the time. They already called ladies birds.
They did? They did?
Yeah.
Really?
That bird over there? Sure.
Oh, I guess I never heard that.
But really? You've never heard a lady called a bird?
No.
Yeah. Maybe she started it. Maybe he started Johnson.
Yeah,
She
I
started
started
Bird.
Bird.
Power couple. Yeah, she was raised Ladybird. The Ladybird.
Ladybird
She also founded
Burgerton.
a city named Ladybird.
Ladybird Johnsonville. The home of the biggest, best hot dogs this side of the Texas Arcana.
Step right up and get your
Gravy turd
Lyndon B
Monson.
dogs. Well, the mom died pretty early, so
And she fell down some stairs while pregnant.
yeah, unfortunately, she fell down some stairs, had a miscarriage later. But this mom had a lot of money, so that was kind of, probably not great for Lady Bird, but it didn't seem like she was that affected.
Well, she definitely what happened was the aunt came in and took Lady Bird away. At least we don't know how long she was really there, but she at least took her for the summers to Alabama to their house, and they seemed to live in the forest or the woods. And
I mean, it's Alabama.
I don't have any idea what Alabama is like.
I think it's just cricks and brush, and ropes from trees that people don't talk about.
Ropes from trees,
Yep.
huh?
Yeah.
For fun.
No fun. No tires attached to people hang tires from them now.
Yeah.
But there you go. You know the history of this rope. Didn't used to be all fun and games.
Wasn't a black tire. Yeah, so her mom passed away, and then her aunt raised her, and then that's how Lady Bird kind of was related to the beautification projects, because she fell in love with nature out in Alabama. She had this quote that was
Yeah.
summer to me meant Alabama.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, very live, laugh, love of her.
Yeah.
But yeah, her dad ended up being pretty rich because I guess he inherited the mom's stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But Lady Bird got a nice chunk of change from her mom when her mom died. Oh, the mom also is where Lady Bird kind of got some of her racial equality views because the mom would be gossiped about in town because she let black people socialize at their house.
Wow, at the plantation house.
Yeah, at the big house.
Wow.
Yeah. So people around town were like, what the hell is she doing? Wearing all those long robes and shawls, running down the stairs, talking with black people. This is not going to end well. And it didn't. She fell right down those stairs.
You know, I heard...
Karma is my stairs.
What'd you say?
I said karma is my stairs.
Karma is...
Or the local neighborhood kids thought it'd be fun to play Tip the Ally at the top of the landing. I mean, I think a plantation house had big stairs.
Yeah. And then
you know the stairs in Django Unchained where it's like 2 stories of stairs?
You think she'd turn the corner? Whoa!
Yeah.
People heard
8
her
stories
falling.
of spiral staircase.
Somebody help!
So she unfortunately died, which was sad. And then Lady Bird kind of sought refuge or just like peace, solace, whatever you want to say, in nature. Mm-hmm. Big nature girl. She spent her summers in Alabama. Mm-hmm. And her love of the environment really, she carries on in her acts as a first lady.
She grew up in a, I think it was still a small town in Texas because she was very smart, but there was not a high school in town. So her dad gave her the family car at like 15, and she would drive to high school.
Yeah.
That's Texas. That's very Texas.
Well, to not have a high school in your town is Texas.
Yeah.
That's the most Texas part of that story.
Yeah.
Is
we got football. We ain't got school.
So she grew up in this, mud-infested incest town of illiterate yokels and would have to drive like 15 miles to go to the nearest high school, which I thought was weird, but then I thought about America more. And there are towns that have like 24 houses, 4 churches, a barbecue spot, and a swamp.
I went to Vermont a couple of weeks ago.
A cemetery.
Yeah. Just everybody that's ever lived there.
Right, and a bunch of metal stars on the houses and, horses everywhere.
I went to Vermont like a year ago, and the main city, Burlington, is like the most populated, but other than that, it's like all rural towns where like 5 small towns drive to one high school. And that's
and a high school is like you need a lot of resources to have a high school. You need a lot of adults who know how to teach. You need kids who want to learn, and that's not always in abundance.
Mm-hmm. You need a rival high school.
You need a rival, so you need 2 high schools.
Yeah, you need 2 for every one high school. You need another.
Yeah, because you need another school to say that your girlfriend who doesn't exist goes there.
Yeah, exactly.
She goes to Omaha High.
She goes to a different state.
Yeah, it's cool. We send letters.
Yeah, we compete with Alaska every year. They drive down and
I see her. It's we get all our time in right then and there.
So she had to drive to high school. She was valedictorian, but this is how shy she was. She intentionally let her grade slip so that she didn't have to give a speech.
Yeah.
At the end of the school year, which that's pretty fun. She's already controlling her destiny.
Yeah,
right there.
I know, that's very cool. She's like, I'll just let it slip a little bit.
Yeah.
And I won't have to talk.
That's very smart. You'd be like, I'll slip enough so I'll still have an A, but I won't have to talk. That's like a specific grade you need to get on a test.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, to be like top 5, but don't have to talk.
Yeah, that's a girl that deserves a jumbo.
Don't have to do 5. Just want to be in the top 5. Don't want to talk for 5.
I'm aiming for a 93.5.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You basically have to be able to get 100.
Yes.
And then calculate which ones are wrong.
It would always be nice. I guess there were times in school where you studied so hard and then you got the test and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But this is just somebody, she seemed like she was naturally...
Are you doing a speed painting?
Oh yeah.
Flip it over. Oh my God, it's Lincoln.
Lady Bird's so smart.
Well, do you want to talk about how this huge piece weaseled his way into her life?
I would love to talk about the way that...
How LBJ met La BJ?
Yeah, so as Lady Bird is maturing into a confident, self-made woman who don't need no man, she is INDEPENDENT.
Somebody fact check that.
I don't know what... I think it just spelled...
I think you added some syllables.
Independent.
The Declaration of Independence.
Okay, hold on. Let me just re-say it. So as Lady Bird is maturing into an independent, self-made woman who don't need no man, LBJ takes a little visit. He's a young man out lobbying in Washington. He takes a little visit back to the homeland, get a little bit of Strickland propane accessories. His buddy, LBJ's in town. He's a young wolf with a huge hog, and he's traveling around town.
He's the wolf and the piggies.
He's blowing down homes.
Blowing everybody's mind. Yeah.
They hung out. So LBJ is with his buddy.
They hung out.
I know. I was like, wait, just be you. I started to read a bullet point, and I was like, I know what to say. Him and his buddy are hanging out in Austin. They're going around town. He's a fancy
Keeping
guy.
Austin weird.
What? Keeping Austin
He started
weird?
it.
He started keeping Austin weird?
He started
by
the weirdness.
whipping out his dick.
That's right. Everyone's like, it's pretty weird.
Going down
He's like, keep it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, you forgot to clean the sides.
Somebody just wrote in dust on his dick.
Yeah.
Clean me.
Yeah, we did that when it was parked outside last night.
That's how he sleeps. He just...
Some people draw dicks on their friends. People would draw on his dick.
Hags.
Like a cast.
Yeah. So he's in Texas. He's with his buddy. He's talking to ladies. They're drinking all day. He sets up a couple of dates, but then his buddy introduces him to Lady Bird. He's immediately taken to this pristine, wealthy...
Hostage.
Yeah.
Bye, Lady Bird.
Yeah. He goes, look, I have a date tonight, but I'd love to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she agrees. So he goes out on his date, probably
a man in demand.
ruins that lady's vagina for the rest of her life, and then just wakes up.
Scorched earth, sir.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Hollows her out like a canoe.
like a
Throws her
cantaloupe.
in the river.
Pumpkin seed then.
Yep.
Eats
So
the
we
ins-
jack-o'-lanterns this bitch.
Yeah.
Puts a candle in her. Puts her on the porch. Goes to sleep and goes to meet Lady Bird for brunch.
Wonder if he showed up hungover.
Probably, yeah. Well, he proposed to Lady Bird after their first date.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I don't even think that was a sign of the times. I think that was just LBJ.
I think that was LBJ too.
Just being so sure.
Yeah.
He pressed up against her from the hug. He's like, all right, she'll say yes.
You feel that? Yeah, it's like a homecoming grind.
Can you feel that? My cock. I mean, he must have been dropping hints, which is not the way to go. I mean, it is if you're some kind of damaged guy who needs to prove it to himself all the time. But if you have a big dick, you should really just be internally
you just gotta
happy.
Be chill.
You got to be chill.
I think
and
girls
it's a nice
have that.
surprise.
I think girls are always on the hunt for the big ween.
Right.
And I think they're like, I think if you're a chill guy on the date that has no worries, they're like, I think this guy might be pack-a-lankin'.
You see this haunting diagram, though, of a guy with a small dick, and it sticks right out. Teeny dick sticks right out. Looks like he has a bit of a bulge. And then long dick hangs along the side of your leg, so it doesn't look like you really have a bulge. So it's an optical illusion.
Pollution.
Yes.
Confusion.
Yes.
The pollution confusion.
Yes.
Well, that's so the girl. I feel like the girls look on the side of the leg.
I think they do as well.
Okay,
But it was a crudely drawn MS Paint diagram that really got me thinking.
Jeez.
Many sleepless nights thinking about that diagram, dude. It makes a lot of sense, though. You know what I'm talking about? Like, have you ever at the gym, your guy's
that's
just
the worst.
he's
When
just sticking
at
through the
attention.
compressions, like, I want to do a few reps. And you're like, get in there.
You're like, dude, don't just do it. They're standing right up.
Like, you look so hard, even though you're so soft, and look.
It's like the bare
You look the
bone.
hardest, smallest, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cactus skeleton.
It's just the skin.
Yeah.
You ever think about your dick as just a floppy guy that fills up with blood?
Yeah.
And the woman's like, put that bloody stick in me. It's so stupid. It's so weird.
Go ahead and stir my
No,
honey.
sorry. It's my time of the month. I got my fill of blood.
Yeah, I got blood.
I'm bleeding enough for
I
both
got
of us.
So much blood. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if I could bottle this and put it in a dick, I'd be way bigger than you. If we want to compare bloody sticks, get a condom. I'll show you.
Yeah, I've been going all week. Oh, boy.
Put those feet down, dude. They're blocking my face. Or maybe people
Sorry.
like that.
Sorry.
Anyway, so their first date, he proposes.
Well, they hang out all day.
Oh,
They
they
go
hang
to
out
brunch, they go to lunch.
You can't deny they hang out all day. It's a good date. It is a good date. Lady
They-
Bird has a great time.
They have a great time at the. They both.
I mean,
like-
that would be crazy if you had kind of an awkward date at the end. You're like, so do you want to marry me? She's like, okay.
Jeez.
God.
This is the vibe you were feeling. This is marriage vibes to you? We kind of kissed weirdly.
This is your forever?
We
It's just...
This is what you thought to be holy for eternity?
This is what you want for the rest of your life is what we felt today?
Well, just you have sweet
Just-
jugs.
Our lips were like two people trying to get past each other in a hallway. We just couldn't quite figure out the rhythm. Sorry.
I've had some of those.
You
back in
kind of
the-
got to learn how the other person, you got to adjust. It's like two massage chairs syncing up. You know, and you're on two different settings. One's on like dun 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 dun. The other one's like
I think of that like jacuzzi jets.
kissing. Yeah, a very thin jacuzzi with jets facing right at each other. Speaking of jacuzzi jets, I'm just sorry I can't talk. My mind's going, but my mouth can't keep up.
My body.
Get your hand out of your pants. Is someone paying you for this? We get an.
What is happening? Podcast is over, man. It was over before we began.
It almost was. We
My balls are hot in these jeans.
we get so many DMs. I would not be surprised if you privately arrange something with the guy.
It's like a baseball coach.
You're just signaling the pitcher until he Venmos you $100.
No, yeah, I only kept the pod going as a side hustle.
Yeah, no, he told me if I put my hand on my pants and block his face with my feet.
Made it more about me.
Yeah, it's got to be all Chuck on this one.
I need you to overshadow Zach.
I could never do that to him.
For 5 seconds.
How does $100
It's going to get me so hard if you block him out.
You ever get hard?
I need to see a full foot eclipse of your friend's face.
I wish women had post-nut clarity, because it really is a.
No, they have post-nut frenzy. They're
wanna-
like, oh my God, I can't believe you had me do it. Please, again. They have post-nut friends. They want you to make them come again. Like, we come and we're like, oh, I'm done. I'm ashamed. But they come and they're like, again. It's like a kid, dude. You push really hard on the swing. They're like, no one's ever been able to push me that hard. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. Heather, I can get her 3 times, but she's always.
Yeah, but after the first one, she's like, let's go.
No,
Right?
she's it like zaps all of her energy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this past weekend I was ready to go again as soon as I jazzed, and and
I never want to dance again.
it's not jazz.
Well, it's the saxophone.
Let's get back into LBJ here. So they meet. They spend the whole day together. They must have had a great day because, as well, we've already told you about Lyndon B. Johnson. He knows what he wants,
Oh, yeah.
and at that point in time, he wanted Lady Bird.
Yeah, it is important to note that these two people loved each other very much. And even when Lady Bird was pregnant and had like a really scary pregnancy thing where they like could either save the baby or her, Lyndon was like, do whatever you can to save her. Fuck that baby. I'll kill it myself if it means saving her.
I'll fucking kill that baby.
I'll cut the heart out and feed it to my dying wife. Like he was Lady Bird all the way.
Yeah.
Even after the mistresses, he always came home to her.
Yeah, of course.
And she clung on to that.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of the first like non-ethically non-monogamous couple. Like she was okay with the arrangement and that she couldn't really change it in terms of the cheating. But she knew that he was always coming back to her. So they did have a deep, profound love for each other. And he was like taken with her immediately. I mean, he proposed.
Yeah,
I wonder how many times he did that with other people, though.
Yeah, I wonder if that was just his thing. If that's just what he was known
hopefully
for.
not. I don't.
Like-
Go ahead.
Yeah, like if Lady Bird ran into another girl in Texas, like, oh, you went out with Lyndon? Did he propose? Did he whip out his dick and propose? Yeah.
Was the ring on his dick?
Yeah.
Did he peel back some of the skin? And he goes, will you marry me?
Oh, looky here.
He's like, I didn't have a box. I thought this was the next best reveal.
The unravel.
Did he have a ring? Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
And she said no.
She said no.
To be clear.
And then they started.
For any of you on the edge of your seats wondering what she said no. I know you're like, but they're married. Well, hold on.
Not yet, they're not.
We got some more history to get through. No, she said no, and then for the next 10 weeks, there was an intense courtship process.
Yeah, I think LBJ went back to D.C. And they sent 90 letters in the course of 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But it took 1 to 3.
It's like Theo and Van Gogh. Actually, it's way more intense than Theo and Van Gogh.
Because they were in love.
Well, so were Theo and Van Gogh, but it was,
I don't know. It's, different type of intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could tell. I wonder how horny Lyndon was when he was writing those letters. You ever like horny text?
Yeah.
I wonder if he put one of those in the mailbox, jizzed, and was like, "What was I thinking in that?"
Mailman's like, I'll give it to Ladybird. He's like, no.
Not that one,
Dude.
What is it sealed with? Smells like mushrooms.
Smells like Georgia peaches.
Georgia peaches.
Yep. Oh, well, and Ladybird also was kind of like, obviously, a little wary of this guy.
Yeah.
Like, she would send him letters being like, so my friends are telling me, like, trying to hide behind the friends, which I like that as a tactic. She's like, so my friends are saying, quote, you just met the guy, end quote. What do I say?
Yeah. How do I tell my friends that I'm
How do
getting
I tell
married?
my friends that you're kind of intense and crazy?
You're pretty, yeah. You kind of shoved me up against the wall and said, marry me, I'm going to be somebody.
And I liked it, but we're moving a little fast.
Yeah, I've known you for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So they do eventually get married, I think like 6 weeks into the courtship.
Wait, also, when LBJ was in Karnak, he also stopped by Ladybird's like dad's house.
Yeah, I think on the same day. I think he drove to
Probably
her.
after breakfast with the second lady. He was like, all right, I really know now that I don't want to, at least be with another woman. I'm going to have sex with many. Many more women.
Yeah.
But in terms of like hanging out, it's Ladybird all the way.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's also the thing. Is he's probably like, I think that was, we just called my grandma, who was alive in the 60s, to ask her if men were cheating all the time.
It's a crazy phone call.
Yeah.
So
But
I was like, I'm going to call Mama. I'm like, you don't have to.
she answers at night more than during the day. She stays up till like 12 watching wild Italian shows.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the news, what was going on.
The Italian news.
When something was happening, I forgot what it was, but it was like some major event in the U.S. was happening. And at Italy, the big news was this lady who fooled thousands of people that her statue of the Virgin Mary was crying blood. She got like $250,000 of donations. And everybody in Italy thought it was a miracle.
Yeah.
So she was just getting canceled.
Okay. It was very thinly strained marinara. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It was-
I'm sorry.
And I'm like, Mama, the election was stolen. And Italy's talking about that.
People are always doing some Virgin Mary scam.
Yeah.
The toast.
Yeah, the toast.
bloody tears. Guys, stop weaponizing the Mother Virgin Mary. Were you raised Catholic?
No. I
Oh,
mean,
you weren't?
For a year, we went to church,
Okay.
but my mom
But your-
escaped.
Your mom was Catholic, though.
My mom was.
I was just going to say the Virgin Mary is bigger in Catholicism
Yeah.
than she is. She's a fat mom.
And
How do you think Jesus got so strong? Sucking on them titties.
sucking on those fat
Sucking
mom
on them virgin
tits.
titties. No, but apparently the Virgin Mary is just like more prominent in Catholicism as like this gracious figure. I think because you're so full of sin that your mom is the only one that can be like, it's okay.
Okay.
She's like everyone's, it's okay, mom. Which is kind of what Ladybird was to LBJ.
Yeah, I would say so.
He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to run. Nobody wants me.
I'm Hank Hill, and I sell propane and president accessories.
I'm going to get blacks' rights. Bobby, and my uncle's going to hate me. Ladybird.
Ladybird was Hank Hill's dog's name. By the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's also guess
That
where
tickles me.
Hank Hill lives?
Karnak?
Texas.
Oh, nice.
They've tied it all in.
They tied it all in.
Ladybird Hill.
We
Yeah.
got some Hank Hill stickers, actually.
Ladybird.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about
The
so
proposal.
LBJ goes down, meets the dad on their
meets the
first
dad.
day.
Yeah.
And the dad tells Ladybird later that day, she goes, you've brought home a lot of boys,
Yep.
but today you brought home a man.
He showed me his penis.
It's huge.
Holy crap, that guy's a man. No wrinkles. Well, not on his face. That dick's seen some years.
See that wedding ring trick he did?
So cool.
So cool,
I love
Ladybird.
magic. You got to marry that kid. Man.
Oh, man. Good luck.
You're really seeing the effects of us not having a high school in Karnak. I am smitten with this guy. He uses big words like often and pleasure. Nice. Next time you fart,
Nice.
get it in the mic. We got to make some extra cash.
Yeah, we got to get it for those freaks.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I assume the dad just said yes because, this is kind of important for Ladybird and Lyndon's relationship. Ladybird kind of puts up with all the shit that Lyndon gives her because she saw her dad, who got remarried twice after the mom, took a trip. And and she just thought that dudes were just like, yeah, like a husband. Your husband's going to have girlfriends. and it's just a necessary evil that you're going to have to grin and bear. But if he comes back to you, you know, that's the best you can ask for. You win. Yeah, you win.
What's that like?
It's like polyamory. Is being like, no, at the end of the day, I'm the one.
Yeah.
I'm the one.
You're the one, baby. Smell my fingers.
Oh, no. What about Boss Lady? We got to talk about her as a boss bitch. She was girl boss in it. And she had some inheritance from her mom's lengthy fall. And I can't emphasize how long these stairs were. You heard it for like a minute. Mom?
Should we do something?
Oh, no. So she got a lot of inheritance. I don't know how much specifically, but enough that she could buy kind of a failing radio station called what, KTBC or something.
Mm-hmm. Your home of
Kentucky, Texas, Bitcoin. No one thought it was going to work. They didn't even know what those words meant together. But
excuse me, but what in the hell is a blockchain? Is that what we tied the... Never mind.
Yeah. Yep. Is that when you had 4 of them together, chained up in a block? In 1952, she bought a TV station in Austin. And in the 60s, LBJ strong-hogged the FCC into allowing Lady Bird to have basically a communications monopoly in Texas. So later on, when LBJ had some power, he threw it her way.
Yeah, there were.
But she what's up?
Alley-ooped it.
Yeah, he alley-ooped her for the monopoly, but on Boardwalk and Park Place. But she did this all her own. He thought it was a bad investment. He's like, I wouldn't buy that if I was you.
But she's smarter.
Who listens to the radio anymore? It's all me. People just listen to me. Who on earth would want to hear somebody else other than me talk? The radio's dying, babe. And she kind of becomes this like media mogul in Texas, and she becomes the first lady. She has a lot of firsts. The first lady to become a millionaire before her husband becomes president.
Yeah.
So she was
Without
the one
the help.
wearing the money bags.
Yep. Because Lyndon was like, "Hey, I don't think you should invest," and she was like, "I'd like to remind you
that my inheritance is what is for me to decide what to do with it. I'm gonna work on a comeback, Lyndon, and I'm gonna be back with you.
I'm gonna be right back.
We'll be right back. I learned that from the radio station I bought.
Hey, why don't you listen to play a little bit of Elvis, and I'll be right back.
What was the quote actually? It was like, "My inheritance is mine to do."
It was mine to do with something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but she ended with a preposition, so I was like, "How do you really?" Is that what she said? She started with my inheritance.
It's on Wiki.
It's something that's mine alone to deal with how I please.
On, in, around my choices.
It is my prerogative. Sprays him. So separately with her inheritance, you want to take this one away?
Yeah, separately with she had a lot of money. And Lyndon decides that he wants to campaign to get into the Senate. And in order to campaign, you need a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And just like a lot of politicians, who's John Kerry was married to a Hines. That's a billionaire.
Ah, what they used to fake the blood.
He turned to Lady Bird, and Lady Bird goes, all right, I'll fund your campaign. Forks over $10K, which is the equivalent of $100,000.
Yeah.
To fund the entire campaign. So
Can you believe it? The entire campaign.
What's the deal with Lady Bird?
That actually seems pretty budget conscious.
And who knows if that was even a lie, because now she's this media mogul. She's making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
She's got the monopoly in Texas, and she's like, all right, baby.
Well, that was in the 60s. I mean, this is when he's running for Senate, so that would probably be 50s, whatever. But she's still got some bank. I mean, she bought the radio station for $17K, which would be $170.
Yeah.
So she had some cash to
She
throw
definitely
around.
had some cash.
And yeah, she believed in him enough that. By the way, did you know he taught debate in school?
No.
I guess we can talk about his teaching career later. But yeah, so he was. I think he was always born to like, dude, him in a modern day debate. I would love to see him as a Democrat go against Trump. He would be like the Trump Dem versus Trump Repub.
Yeah, he would stomp on
Ooh,
Trump.
that would be so fun.
Yeah.
Then Trump would have to whip his dick out.
Yeah, and
there'd be no other choice.
And I've heard it looks like an egg.
No, you're thinking of Weinstein.
Okay.
Don't you talk about 45 like that?
Eventually, he becomes the Senate Majority Leader, right? That's what the term is called?
Yeah, I don't exactly know what it means, but it seems important.
I think he seems to be the top guy.
I think he was top dog of the Dems.
Pretty
top Dem dog.
Yeah, pretty powerful position. He serves in that position of power for 6 whole years. And then
6 long to
And-
some years.
during this time, JFK is rising the ranks. He's a part of the elite. He's a socialite. He's a little bit, he's got a little bit of stardom.
Oh, yeah.
But Lyndon B. Johnson, during being in the, as he is in the role of Senate Majority Leader, people are thinking that, oh, maybe this guy is going to be the president. And JFK, people are telling JFK, hey, maybe you could be the VP for Lyndon B. Johnson.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And then over the course of, more years go by, obviously JFK surpasses everybody.
Shoots ahead.
Spakang! That's the sound of JFK rising to power and being shot.
Yep.
They use the same sound.
He shot ahead.
So now JFK is running for president, and they go, who is a good choice for your VP?
Who's going to round out this ticket with a rich, good-looking Catholic?
And the South doesn't like JFK. He's too rich. He's
Too
too elite.
Catholic.
He's too Catholic.
Not white enough.
No. He's too weird to them.
Yeah, he is weird. He talks strange, and they've been talking strange as well, but he talks strange in a different way
Yeah.
that people don't like.
And he's obviously I wonder if he was vocal about being for civil rights when he was running for president.
I feel like you keep some of that hush-hush. I don't know. You got to get the, I don't even know if the black vote was a big thing back then.
Yeah, well, they weren't registered, right?
No, in certain states. I think it wasn't federally legal. It might have been state by state, kind of like weed.
Can I
But-
vote here? Yeah, just make sure you do it behind.
Yeah, just buy a book, and we'll gift you a vote. We can't legally let you vote, but if it's a gift, it doesn't matter.
Don't mail the vote.
They won't raid us.
Yeah.
If you're going to mail it, please gift wrap it as a gift.
And some peanut butter.
Was that because George Washington Carver?
No, because you hide drugs in peanut butter.
Oh,
Because the
I
dogs
thought it was
can't.
because of a black man's important contribution to peanut butter. Which I'm like,
not a
this
big
is
peanut butter guy.
strange pull. I'm a huge peanut butter guy, but we don't have time. We don't have time to get into
Peanut
that.
butter is kind of gross.
I love it.
Wait.
Shut up. You're just trying to make me mad.
No, it's not that good. Some people base their whole personality.
Can I tell you this real quick? Somebody somebody
guess-
was hosting a
Yes,
show.
we do have time.
We have time. You just live an hour away. Someone was hosting a show.
You're driving me home.
Well, someone was hosting a show, and he asked them, "Who's your favorite comedian?" You might have even been here for this. And he went, Matt Rife. And he's like, "Are you trying to make me mad? You trying to piss me off? You trying to piss me off right now? Because I'm getting pretty pissed off."
Yeah, that guy.
Anyway,
He is my favorite bit. You guys dating?
he is my favorite bit. Maybe after the show, baby. That's my favorite Rife bit.
All the clips right now, I'm not. It's just him doing crowd work like in a stadium.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing?
And people are watching crowd work from a monitor.
Just stay on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a closer experience.
You could be masturbating
Yeah.
while,
Well, some of those guys in the nosebleeds are probably porking
Right.
away.
So JFK shot
so-
ahead.
Shot ahead, and then he goes
became
and,
president. Oh, yeah,
well,
but
then he goes and asks
you got to round out the ticket.
LBJ, and a
Yeah.
quick little tidbit into their entire relationship. They weren't really friends during
Yeah.
the presidency, before the presidency. They didn't work
LBJ,
well
in fact, shot him.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this. He was behind the grassy knoll.
He put a dick in his penis and sneezed. Or he put a bullet in his penis. God fucking damn it. I'm so mad at myself. He put a dick in his penis.
And sneezed. Well. There's your case for weed, folks.
I took one hit.
Yeah. And that's all
Yeah.
it takes.
Look at you. You're sinking into the couch. I was so pissed with the technology. I couldn't handle it.
Okay, so JFK goes up to LBJ and he goes, "Hey, would you like to be my? I need somebody who's going to win the South back, and you're a man at Texas." And LBJ and
Y'all going to really help me with those southern retards. You mean it? Me? I'd love to be of service. But wasn't a VP...
who is that, Jake?
we can't shit on any more people. Wasn't VP... You were telling me this, a step down? I thought it was a step up.
Well, I heard in this podcast dedicated to Lady Bird Johnson that they hated the offer because apparently VP is known as the most useless position in the government.
I guess you kind of are side bitch.
Yeah, you're just a side hoe.
You're a professional understudy.
Yeah.
You're waiting for that guy to die.
Yeah, you're sweeping the hair after the haircut.
Yeah.
You're there, but nobody cares about you.
Yeah, you can't hold the buzzers.
No, not at all.
You can look at the blue liquid, but that's about it. Don't even go near it.
So
You're kind of a body double.
well, especially in his case.
Yeah. More of a body replacement.
So they took a couple of nights to decipher, and they're like, "Hey, fuck this," but and they did not want to do it. But something just out of I think the principle of who they were, I don't.
You got to say yes to being VP.
Yeah, you have to say. They were like, "Okay,
President's
we'll do
in
it."
the name, yeah.
And then they knew they were giving up power, and there's this quote that when they do get into office, JFK gets in, and El Beej get in. The couple of Beeges get in, and their first quotes about the office is like they're having a tough time getting used to the powerless position that is the vice presidency.
They've been neutered.
Yeah, they kind of were castrated a little bit.
Yeah, what do you have to do as a vice president is really you have to go to events that the president doesn't want to go to.
Yeah.
And then his pregnant fat wife won't get out of her marital bed.
Yeah, and Lady Bird she went to over 150 events during JFK's campaign.
Instead of Jackie Kennedy.
It was a pregnant, and I was having miscarriages.
Oh, yeah, left and right.
Yeah, miscarriages were huge back then.
Yeah.
I think they still are now.
They're not, yeah. I think they're more common than you would think.
Yeah, no,
you would think they should be. So, I'm pretty sure Jackie was seriously pregnant.
Yeah.
Not just kidding around.
Yeah.
Not just putting a pillow under and going, it's a boy. Psych. You'll never have an heir. No, I think she was like 8 to 9 months pregnant, so they sent Lady Bird out on duty to campaign for JFK.
Yeah.
To win with LBJ on the ticket.
And Lady Bird got very close with the Kennedys during that time.
Sure.
She was with the family all the time. She was with the sisters, probably Rosemary. And,
well, aren't you the sweetest little butterfly?
Can you blink for me? Yeah, so she showed up a lot for JFK, which was great because that kind of prepared her to become the first lady when it happened.
Have you seen Veep? You know the concept? She's
no,
just
I don't know
VP.
the concept. She's a VP.
She's VP. Yeah, that's what Veep is.
Okay.
You're the VP. You're the Veep. And she's desperately clawing to make her name, like have some kind of legacy as a VP. I think it's so hard to do anything as a VP. I think people remember First Lady more than they remember VP.
Wow.
Like, we know Michelle Obama, but what did Joe Biden do as Obama's VP?
Golf.
Yeah.
And as we've learned,
just
it's probably the only thing he's good at.
Waste away his good brain years.
Yeah.
Golfing.
It's probably why his brain's a little more melted. He's out in the sun all day. Joe Biden looks like a guy who looks at the sun every time he's outside.
Oh, look at that. Oh, check that out. Come on, man.
It's really bright. I wonder, because basically you're just like, you're kind of like a celebrity on the red carpet is what VP. Just show up, look cute, don't
Wave,
fall.
Wear the right thing.
Off your bike. Yeah.
Well, they're like disappointed. They're disavp-ointed.
Yeah. What does Vice mean? Second?
Viceroy?
Vice News?
Miami Vice?
Well, there's a Vice.
You have a vice.
President.
I thought it was just the president who smoked a lot and gambled.
I thought it was the president with the most problems.
I thought it was like the shadow side president.
Yeah,
you know,
so the president-elect could be at least I'm not that guy.
You have the president for the better angels of our nature, and then you have the vice president for the filthy demons we really are.
Yeah.
The vice president.
Oh, that's the vice president. You look over, he's just like, eh.
He says, yeah, fucking a prostitute,
Yeah.
chain smoking, reinstituting slavery. It's just, I'm sorry, I can't quit. I can't quit having slaves. It's too good.
It's fun. Everything gets done, not by me.
There's a support group for guys who are addicted to having slaves. They're like, I just don't know what to do.
I mean, how am I supposed to get anything done? I don't know.
SOA.
Yeah.
Slave Owners Anonymous.
Yeah, it's funny. And that's where the hoods came from.
What?
You had to stay anonymous.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm Eric. Hey, Eric. But y'all won't know who I am outside of this. So if you see any Eric, it could be any one of us.
Yeah. I know we do live in a town of 300, but
Yeah, with no high school.
I definitely do not own Eric's bar.
Don't come down to Eric's General Store. That is not mine.
If you see that Eric and you say, did I see you in SOA? He's not going to have a clue what you're talking about.
That's better. What you just did at the very end, that's the southern accent we need. What y'all talking about?
Okay.
The draw.
Draw.
Right?
Darth Maul.
Da Maul.
Maybe that's the real way to pronounce
Hit him
it.
with the Rick Roll.
You see Darth Maul? You mean
I
Darth
like-
Maul.
Yeah, he's scurry. That boy is scurry.
Tyler Perry goes to the White House.
Yeah, we had that for 8 years. Boom! Roasted Obama. He's going to make me take that out. We're close personal friends.
Now, Zach,
offended too many-
I feel like I was offended.
I like your podcast. I thought it was funny. And then I heard my name. And I got real sad.
What kind of voice is that?
Dude, that's not about Obama. What are you doing? I don't know if I have an inferiority complex, and maybe I'm going to start showing people my dick once I reach 35, the minimum age to become president. But I swear to God, it's like once I become close enough friends with people, they start thinking I'm less funny and less good at things. That was a good Obama. I'm hurt here. I'm your latest victim.
Hey, man.
You hurt
good.
me.
It's good.
Listen.
I know I don't have an Obama, so yours can be better than mine. Give me a how do you do Obama?
You have to start with the. If you go to listen, that's a pretty good word.
Listen. I don't even know how to do it.
You're trying to
But I'm
shake me
also
down in
not
the street.
I'm not getting hurt.
Yeah, you're
But-
not putting your heart and soul into it,
Oh,
and that's why you're never gonna get there.
Michelle is
Michelle,
not a man.
she's a woman.
She has a bulge.
I mean, I feel like I'm getting worse. You got in my head. You pushed Obama out. It's just all Zach up here. God damn it.
So they get into VP office. The first couple of days, they're like, "Oh, maybe this is going to be a great position." And then LBJ's like, goes up to the Secret Service and he's like, "Can I have the key to the bathroom?" And they're like, "That's for presidents only, bitch. You're the VP."
Points to a hole outside.
Yeah, you piss in the hole. That's the vice hole. And they're like, "Huh, that's a little weird. I feel like I'm still got a little bit of power.
Okay.
Can I have a key to the fridge?"
Why is the fridge locked only for me? Is that it? Is that? Do all y'all have keys and I don't? What's the Wi-Fi password? Oh, you got.
I gotta go to a Starbucks.
No, you got to buy a commemorative presidential coin for that.
Really?
Yep, to the cash register.
So they're not happy with.
I don't. Yeah. Do you feel at home in the White House if you're VP? Probably.
You live in the White House?
I
As
don't know.
VP?
I think
Is
you
there
do.
a vice White House?
I think you live in the corporate Airbnb they sent you to in Reston.
Yeah, I think it's
You have to live in Reston, Virginia. It's like a 2-hour commute.
You're stuck in traffic
Like,
every
where's
morning.
the VP? And he's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, fuck. Texting, gonna be late. There's a crash.
Like, don't worry, we didn't need you.
Stop looking.
We're
You
gonna
guys always look.
We were gonna start the meeting without you
Yeah.
anyway. I do think the concept of vice president is funny. Having a really moral guy and then having a really impure guy who just kind of represents your worst desires.
Yeah. It's probably why he's whipping his dick out.
You know, you're like a president. I could get a beer with that guy. It's like I could snort and blow off a hooker's ass with that guy.
Yeah, I'd have a night I'd like to forget with
I'd
that guy.
I'd have a nice night that I could not tell my wife about with that guy.
Yeah.
And Lyndon B. Johnson's that guy.
Oh, for sure. You know he's going hard.
He'll get you there.
The Texas way.
Yeah, he's fucking strippers.
Yeah. He's bringing Texas to
He's
the
in
White
the
House.
backyard giving him the Johnson treatment,
Yeah.
which is a fun little euphemism for rape.
And piss on the leg.
Oh man, you know, if we know a story of him pissing on someone's leg, that can't be the first. That's got to be one of his
No.
go-to gags.
Oh, yeah.
Is pissing on a
Hey,
friend's leg.
Ladybird, check this out.
Ugh, not again.
I'm sorry, Steve. He's drunk again.
All right, so they're at the VP office. They realize it sucks. They're not living up to La Vida Loca. And luckily, in 1963, they go to Dallas with John F. Kennedy and Jackie to do some top-down driving and vacation at LBJ's ranch. And this was probably an opportunity, I was thinking about this, for the two families to get closer.
Because they were not really
They weren't buddies, they were just political allies. But
And
they
then
didn't-
also, LBJ probably has to harbor some fucking resentment every day where he's like, I have no power.
I wanted to be that guy.
This 35-year-old rich kid.
This
is-
cockeyed Boston Catholic.
Yeah.
Kind of some fish eyes. Jackie and John both had some
Both
fish
have
eyes.
weird eyes.
Yeah. But the corrective surgery was a bit overcorrective, if you ask me. I think they went in a little too deep.
So JFK gets assassinated, and I didn't know this. LBJ was in the car right behind him.
The caboose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is now you got to be thankful you're in a position of less power. 'Cause that could have been
Yes.
you if they should put the VP ahead as a decoy, but they didn't. They go, get in the back.
As the front lines.
Yeah.
The VP
They should
be on
put the
front
VP in the
line.
front in a JFK mask.
Joe Biden should have been doing, like, mouthing all the speeches as Obama crouched behind the podium. Underneath him, he's giving impassioned speeches. Joe's just sweating bullets, just like looking around. We check that window over there, and America needs to prosper. I believe through these programs, and we all deserve free health care. Does anybody hear that? What's that? Who's that guy? Just a camera, Mr. Biden. It's okay. Keep going.
The camera's got a big scope. This is a lens.
Somebody check that guy out. So, yeah, LBJ is bringing up the rear, sees JFK get assassinated.
Offed.
Yeah. Watches it happen.
Yeah.
And
I think it must have been weird to be LBJ, and because you're in this weird moment where you see your promotion happen live. Like, you just hear a gunshot, then your boss's head crack open, and you're like, shit, guess I'm in charge. Damn, I run the country now.
can we go watch shopping? I'm trying to celebrate.
Yeah. Hey, this might not be the best time, but is there a happy hour anywhere near here, or some kind of sake bar? I'm trying to get wasted right now. I just got promoted.
I mean, I'm so happy. I'll forgive the Japanese for what they did. Holy shit, dude.
I'm not talking about coming over here. I'm talking about my neighbor who used to be Japanese.
Take me to sushi. Yeah, and used to.
His fence was over the property line.
His bamboo came way across. Yeah. To be there and be like, holy shit, I'm the president? I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
The power. It courses through me. Jackie, holy shit. So sad.
He's holding up a hammer.
Lightning's coming from the hammer.
Are you
Did you
sad?
bring that from home?
This is how I grieve.
Did you know this was going to happen?
No, I just always keep a sword on me. Get it, Ladybird?
Yeah, you got to wonder because, I mean, they weren't really tight friends.
No,
Ladybird, obviously.
Yes.
One, she's a lady. Two, she was close with Jackie.
Yeah.
It must have been really sad. And John.
Also, you had this point, too, where it's like they brought Kennedy to the hospital.
Yeah, they did bring Kennedy to the hospital, which, like, what are you going to do?
I think it was just for optics.
You think they wanted to see if his eyes still worked? Probably. Like, we're doing everything we can to save him. And what do you think they're doing in the OR?
I think they brought him in, and the surgeon's like, well, I guess let's lock them out and set a timer. And then I'll go out at 10. Make
We'll play cards for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And then be like, yeah, we did our best.
Yeah, every now and then drop some things, make it sound like and I'll yell, damn it.
We're losing him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
what do you do to a guy whose just head is exploded? Do you try to be like, okay, well, hold on. Can you plug the other end?
Yeah. Have you tried this? Okay, now we're going to hold. We're going to hold for 5.
Takes a cork out of a wine bottle. All right, that should stop it for a second. Let's brainstorm. I don't want to be insensitive, but let's brainstorm. Let's use our brains to help this guy.
Maybe we could donate.
Calls in Jackie. Like, could we scrape some of that off? I think we're missing like 5 puzzle pieces right here.
Yeah, so Jackie's at the hospital. They're all at the hospital, and then they get the doctor comes out. He's like, "Hey, JFK, we came close, but
Mr. President, I'm sorry we couldn't save him.
Congratulations."
Yeah, it's such an honor. Can I get an autograph? I don't think he had a VP for a while.
No, he didn't.
If LBJ got shot, it might have been Lady Bird
Oh yeah.
bringing up the reins.
Well, people wanted a lot of people around them wanted Lady Bird to be the vice president because there's not a rule that says when the VP is elected to P that the VP has to have a VP.
When the VP drops the V, loses his V card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does he put the V? He doesn't need to put it anywhere. So he gets sworn in like on the plane, right? Was that the story?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought
Well, they were in Texas, and they'd probably have to get it back to D.C., so that would make sense.
Yeah, but somebody who sworn them in was like good friends with Kennedy, and they were crying while swearing him in.
That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. He was beloved
Yeah.
by Marilyn Monroe. And Lady Bird, she started this tradition. When he got sworn in, she was holding the Bible. Or like had him hold his hand over the Bible.
Yeah.
And now every first lady does that because she did it.
Yep.
Don't want to break with that Lady Bird precedent. So he gets assassinated, and then let's jump back to Lady Bird here. So she's like, okay, she's mourning for her dead friend, for Jackie, and she's also having to be like compared to Jackie now. Like, how's she going to hold up to Jackie? Which
Yeah.
everyone thought of as this like stylish, fashionista, gorgeous woman, which is not, I mean, no offense, is not how I would describe Jackie. I
Not
thought
by
Lady Bird
today's
was way
standards.
more attractive. No. But she's worried about being compared to her because Lady Bird doesn't really, she wasn't raised in this culture of, like Jackie Onassis was a rich lady too. She knew how to
Yeah.
walk the walk and, you know.
She was more elite, I would say, than
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speak easy in high society.
yeah.
And Lady Bird didn't really know how to dress properly, apparently.
Her lipstick was always messed up.
Yeah, you got to fix that. But this is how far apart she felt from Jackie. She felt she was so distant from her. Like, she's so far from being this beautiful first lady that she felt a little liberated that she didn't even have to compare herself.
Yeah.
They're like, we're so different,
Yeah.
which is not true, I don't think.
Yeah, no, she's better in our opinion.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah.
She's the best first lady.
Oh, yes.
She'll always be my first lady. Say, who's your...
Who'd you lose your virginity to? Lady Bird Johnson.
If there's one thing, two things I know...
She was trying to get back at LBJ.
Yeah.
Trying to slay some of that young dick. Take the seed, throw it on his grave. What were we getting into next?
She
what
was
did she
the first
do?
lady to have actual people working for her. She had
Oh,
an
staff.
office, and she had a... That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Staff.
Yeah, in the East. We had forces in the West, and suddenly Lady Bird called in reinforcements to the East Wing, which is, I think, where just the people live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you work in the West and you sleep in the East. No, I'm serious. I think that's why it was the West Wing, because that's where all the business happened. And then I'm just basing it off of like fragments of knowledge from my life. There's no way to know what you do in the East Wing, but I think you sleep, and then sometimes you have a staff if you're the first lady.
Is there a wing for dining?
I think there's a dining section in each wing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a big house.
There's a eat.
There's an eat place.
There's an eat the sleep wing.
There's an eat place in the wing. Yeah.
Yeah, we eat sleep here. It's the ESW. Okay, so Lady Bird. This is what happens.
Yeah. What does?
Let's recap. LBJ gets in the office as the acting president.
Uh-huh.
Now he's everything he's ever wanted to be. Lady Bird is in there. She's a smart, capable woman who's about to get cheated on a lot.
Probably has been.
She's probably been.
But it's about to ramp up.
It's about to get, I mean, I can't imagine the uptick. I mean, she probably, hopefully was doing a lot of
The sheer uptick.
in puss running through the East Wing. Also, are presidents just boning all over the White House?
I think they're too busy. I mean, I think if you really want to make it happen, you can. But I think if it's like not the biggest deal to you, comedy. Mark Norman trying to shit.
Yeah, I have to do that if I see him.
It's a funny bit.
Dude, get this.
Dude, this is you trying to shit. Comedy. I think he would laugh.
I think you would too.
That's great.
I think it could maybe become...
It's short enough that
Yeah.
it's not going to waste enough of his time.
Yeah.
That he'd be mad.
He's like, hey.
That's lunch.
Shit. Oh, okay.
Fuck. And here we are.
I did that yesterday when I was bombing. I went fuck.
Shit. I said that.
Okay.
Bitch.
Bitch. Okay, where are we?
Okay, well, LBJ was not a chosen president.
And
He's kind of in his feelings about it. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be on the team. They didn't pick me.
But you were picked.
No, they shot him.
I was picked because they killed him.
I was picked because they picked him, really.
Yeah.
Someone picked him, so I got it, and no one picked me. I wish they shot me. And then I could at least be talked about with him.
And Lady Bird's like, Jumbo, shut your mouth, Jumbo. Now, where's that man I met 20-something years ago who proposed to me?
Took the ring out of his foreskin and said, will you marry me? And I slapped him in the face, and I said, who are you? I just met you. Crazy.
Made me pay for breakfast. And sure, that's the longest dick I've ever seen in my life. But I am 19 years old, and this is kind of weird.
This is improper. You make me blush, sir.
And I like
Whips
that
out his dick. You make me blush. Yeah, she's like, stop being a bitch and lead us. All right, run for
Yeah.
a second term. I know you're a good guy. I know you want to get some.
Not a second term, first term.
Sorry, run for a first term. Right.
Because a couple
It's
of months.
weird. You think of it, the first one as a first term, but it's really just.
It's just months before the election.
It's what this
Oh, is it
podcast
a
episode
year?
will be before we re-record it.
Yeah,
It's just-
exactly.
it's just
Doesn't-
kind of a test run. Yeah.
Is it a year that goes by?
When was he shot?
He was 63, and I think the election was
He wa-
64.
You're right. So it was a year.
So Lyndon B is in his feelings. He's listening to a lot of Drake. And
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
in the tub, candles lit.
yeah. He's like, nobody wants
I'm a
me.
bad president.
Yeah. Nobody's going to like me.
Lyndon.
She's by
We
the
don't
door.
even know that yet.
Yeah.
You haven't even proved to the people what kind of president you are, good or bad. Now you get out of that tub. Here's your second dick towel. Dry that hog off. Come to bed and run for president tomorrow, God damn it. And she went and campaigned with him.
Yeah, well, she wrote him a note that was like, if you don't run for president, it's going to be very embarrassing. She's like, it's going to be humiliating. Your friends are going to think you're a disgrace.
Jeez.
You're letting down the party, and you're not going to be the man who I know you are.
Some tough love.
She gave it to him.
Some tough
It's
love.
like he gave it to everybody else.
Yeah, she gave it right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he the next day he went and actually saw a gynecologist
But it's spelled
because she had heard him. Yes, that's right. He had to see his gynecologist.
I gotta go to my guy, bro.
Take that man card. I love that she gave him that pep talk.
Yeah,
That's where they're really hard on each other, but I think they can both take it.
Yeah, you need it. That text is harsh.
I don't know if everyone could take it, but these two Longhorns were duking it out constantly. In their own ways. LBJ would be like, put lipstick on, you look like shit. Why can't you look more like her? By the way, I'm fucking her. And she'd be like, and then he's like, all right.
on her lipstick.
Would you fuck me? Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So LBJ gets elected. We have a lot more.
This sucks.
I'm so sorry. We have a lot more, though. LBJ. So LBJ's campaigning. Okay, this is crucial. Lady Bird, she's campaigning for JFK. Hey, guys, what's up? This is Zach from Overshadowed, the podcast you just listened to. I decided to split this episode up into 2 parts because 2 hours for a history episode seemed kind of daunting. So I'm going to be releasing the LBJ Lady Bird episode part 2 probably in a day or two. So stay tuned for that, and hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for listening.